Backlog.
Oh boy,
Podcaster.
I hold on. I didn't point it at the correct thingamading. So where the hell? Where the? Hold on, I got this. It's not a problem.
I'm glad you're prepared.
Well, at least I have the Discord volume on, so there's that.
Well, that's good. We take those.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
we're learning from last week.
That's right.
And my
I don't even think I
microphone volume's
watched
been
last week's
fixed.
episode just because we lost so much content.
I mean,
I didn't bother.
really?
Really? Yeah, no, I felt like it was kind of just like a wash episode since we lost
It really isn't a wash episode, I don't think.
over half the
Granted,
episode.
so like it was like we did like it's like we did 2 hours and we lost what, like 40 minutes.
Yeah, but there's still like 2 hours left of content.
All right, fair enough.
And like
Sure.
basically we just start going over the current events, so
All right.
well, there's a lot.
We learned to make sure to put the Discord volume on. So, that's what these tests are for, as the Grinch would say.
Who do we?
What?
It's you. It's
Yeah,
just you.
that's
just
it's
me.
you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just you. There is no actual
I
we.
was trying
He's
not
just
to
saying
blame you
that to make you
exclusively.
The
feel
royal we.
better.
It's a royal we.
A royal fuck up.
That applies to one person.
Ouch.
But we still love you.
Fucked up. That single person.
You didn't have man.
We still love you.
Cut me. Do I not bleed?
Family is loving your family members even when they do something dumb.
Listen,
Whoa, now
if
it's
a
dumb?
tree falls in the Discord and the Discord sound isn't on, does it make a sound at all?
No.
Exactly. You see?
Shit.
Ohana means family.
I love that
Ohana
movie.
means
Everybody-
family.
Everybody fucking loves that movie. Lilo and Stitch
No,
is
I've
great.
met people that hate that movie. They're like, that movie's
Wow.
so overrated
hate-
and trash, and I'm
I
like,
hate
you're
those people.
garbage.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah. But they're garbage human being if they hate Lilo and Stitch. That's like saying you hate love.
You're garbage and it has like the best sisters ever. Go fuck yourself.
For real, for
Oh.
real.
Shots fired.
No, facts fired.
That's true.
Lilo and Stitch is top tier.
great.
Okay.
Just a shame we didn't get the real ending.
It's a shame we didn't get a sequel.
Wait, are you talking about the ending that they had where they planned to do like the plane? They hijacked
Yeah, the big
plane?
old plane battle, and they hijacked the plane, and they like it's ramming into like buildings and shit. That would have been awesome.
That they planned to do right around 9/11.
It's 9/11.
Well, they had done it. They had set it all up before 9/11. Then
Right.
9/11 happened, and they're like, "Wow, maybe we shouldn't."
Dude, I want the list of movies that 9/11 changed, because I bet it's comprehensive.
I
Probably.
mean, I know in Spider-Man 1, they originally had the trailer being Spider-Man
Towers.
making
Yeah.
a web between the Twin Towers. So
Yep.
Yes, yeah, I
Uh,
know that much.
yeah. Also, like every time I ever see like old photos of New York, there's always like the Twin Towers in it. So it's like this iconic. It's always kind of jarring because it brings me back to that moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Also, Limp Bizkit, I'm pretty sure, had a music video where they played music between the Twin Towers.
Did they edit that music video?
No, but it was I was like before. It was like 1999 or 98. But anyway, I don't know. I guess it's not terribly relevant, but I just Twin Towers, rattling off.
Yeah, no, it's not. It changed so many pieces of media. I mean, they were a big part of like the New York skyline, let alone the identity of New York at that time. What?
Yeah.
I'm not a New Yorker. I don't know everything. I just remember that.
Right.
But yeah. So let's kick these things off.
Oh, by the way,
how? Yeah.
All right.
I'm Matt.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
Hi, I'm Quintessence.
Hi, I'm August.
All right, guys. I figure, it'd be easier to kind of, say who's who at the beginning of the podcast so, people know who's talking.
Yeah, I caught on it. I used my context clues.
We
Yeah,
figured.
yeah. Anyway, hey, August,
Yes.
how was your week, man?
My week was good, Mr. Backlog. My week was good. Pretty much just chilling. Kind of semester's over, so even if I take a summer class, I get a nice little fat 2-week break. So I've been using that to chill, get some shit done, get some shit organized, figure out what I'm kind of doing for summer hobbies and summer whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's been chill, just enjoying the extra free time and time to get stuff done. Looks like it's going to be a gorgeous summer, hopefully. So, hoping to get outside more and do some more outside stuff, considering I live in an outside stuff state.
Yep.
And yeah, other than that, just chilling. Still some good TV coming out. Still been watching that. I think Winning Time just wrapped up its first season. That's the HBO 80s Lakers series. Super enjoyable so far. John C. Reilly kills it in pretty much everything he's in.
Right.
As do the other actors. That's been good. Finished up Moon Knight too, which we'll all talk about later.
Yeah.
That ended way better than I thought it was gonna end. As I said, I wasn't too keen on it after episodes 3 and 4. I think I kind of dipped in the middle.
Right.
But I think the last 2 episodes definitely helped to pick it back up. And I definitely kind of have a new appreciation for it. That if you treat it like as a 6-hour movie, it all kind of works out. So yeah, I'm actually kind of pleased with how it ended. But we'll talk about that all together a little bit later.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, pretty much just been straight chilling. Hoarding new video games to hopefully find some time to play during the summer. But other than that, chilling.
The true backlog is
Bro,
August. Is
always
August
adding
really?
to the backlog.
Is it
Over 800 games. Play almost none of them, but I have them.
But you could play them at any time.
I could play. Yeah, exactly. It's having the ability to play them at any time. That's the real dopamine hit. Not actually playing them. That's not as satisfying.
Exactly.
But owning them, ooh, that's crispy.
Gets us real wet.
Yep.
Yo, Quintessence.
Yo, it's me, Quintessence.
How was your week, man?
Well, it was okay. Not great. My cat's having some issues lately,
Mm-hmm.
and probably have to take her into the vet again. So that's pretty shitty. Old cat problems. Other than that, I've just been vibing, just watching anime, streaming, watching some cartoons, just kind of having a good old time.
What have you been?
You
What have
know?
you been watching?
I've just continued to watch Spy Family.
Nice.
I started a rewatch of The Law of Ueki,
Oh, I've never
I've
even
heard of
of
that,
it.
but I don't
which was
really know what it's about.
it's an older shonen.
Mhm.
It's an older battle shonen where uh there's like a pantheon of lesser gods, and each lesser god chooses one middle school candidate
Of
to give a single power to,
Oh God.
and then those students battle, of course.
Yep.
When the main character has the single power of turning trash to trees. So, like, he can take like a lighter without fluid, right? And like turn it into a fucking tree. And so he like uses that to fight and gets really creative with that and stuff. And I feel like the draw for the show is the sheer like creativity with the powers.
Mhm.
Like for example, there's another kid that can turn his whistles into lasers.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, right. So he's a little strong. Or another one that can turn thrown playing cards into saws. So like they just have a lot of fun with the power sets of characters.
Yeah,
And they have
that's
to get creative since each person only has one power.
That
But it
sounds like
follows the
fun.
standard, like battle shonen formula. So
Do they have a tournament arc?
whole thing's a
Ooh,
tournament arc.
gotta love a good
Oh,
tournament arc.
okay.
The whole thing's
Alright.
a tournament. The whole
I
thing's
might
one
have to check this
giant
out
tournament.
only because I love me some tournament arcs there.
Yeah, no, it's a fun ride. It's older though, so the animation's not like spectacular
I
or
love
anything.
older. Are you kidding me?
And
I
it's
miss that
and it's got
hand-drawn
like
look.
the shonen tropes just like slathered in there
I'm okay with
because
that.
it's a shonen. But yeah, if you
Good.
like shonens, then Law
Yeah.
Bueki, kind of like an underrated fun little show.
A lot of those tropes exist for a reason. That doesn't make them bad.
Right.
It's true. I mean, they're tropes for a reason, right? Because
true.
they work, because people enjoyed them.
Facts.
But I think that's about it.
What have you been streaming?
What have I been streaming? Oh, a lot of League of Legends.
A lot of League
I've
of
been streaming
Legends.
a lot of League of Legends, yeah. I also came back to Tekken 7.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I can't.
man, that game's hard.
But it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not easy.
I don't think people underestimate how cool Tekken is. Like
Oh,
having
Tekken's
seen
really cool.
having seen all of the fighting games be played, Tekken is still the coolest looking one out of all of them.
Tekken always just pulls me back in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
As it
just
should.
it's so unique, right? There's no other fighting game that feels like Tekken.
There's
Like
something
there's
so
no
clean
other
about
fighting
it.
game with the options of Tekken. Tekken's just like its own beast. And I
Yeah.
think that's what keeps pulling me back in.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
No,
What
go
was
ahead,
that, Matt?
August. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that
no.
like even kind of games like it never seem to have the amount of polish Tekken has. Like
Yeah.
your Virtua Fighters, your DOAs, even Soul Calibur, which exists in the Rule of Cool space, is still too arcadey, whereas Tekken just feels like technical and sophisticated. It's like
Soul Calibur is very basic. Like
yeah. Like Tekken's the game, like it seems that you need at least have like a masters to like play. It's the
Master's
like
degree. Yeah.
it's like the fancy Scotch drinkers video like fighting game of fighting games. Like it's the like elite fighting game. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you have to have you have to like sit in a fancy leather chair, and if have like a bookcase of like really nice books, and like someone asks you what fighting game you play, I mean obviously you're a working professional, like you play Tekken.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you play like Tekken professionally, that's pretty much the only game you end up playing.
Yeah. Tekken is for intellectuals. I'll put
Tekken,
it down.
Tekken. Well, I mean, like, it's weird, but like the hypest moments in like Tekken Pro tournaments and stuff are literally when two people just run up to each other and neither do anything because they're both like, okay, but if I do something here, then they're gonna react with this here, etc. And it's just like this massive mind game going on at the pro level.
Tekken is like
ridiculous.
the Go of fighting games. Like maybe the chess, but like more of like the Go. It's just crazy amount of like just technical level to it, but also like it feels fancy.
Personally, I think I've always kind of thought that Virtua Fighter was more of a technical fighting game. And
it says that, but nobody plays it is the problem.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like the people that do play it, and when you watch it, it's more high level than it takes a lot longer to get better at Virtua Fighter because there's a lot more like footsies and stuff like that, and a lot more to it in terms of like options. And it's a very intimidating game, and the inputs can be quite difficult. But I will say that Tekken is also up there as one of the most difficult fighting games. It's just that like Tekken with Tekken 7, they made it a lot more accessible to people. So it's like it's slowly moving away from, well, not saying the most difficult fighting game, but it's differentiating itself from Virtua Fighter just a little bit more,
Well, it was never the most difficult, right?
No.
What
like that one probably goes to like Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
I think that's up there.
I think it's of the
or maybe
popular games.
Skullgirls.
Yeah.
Like
of the popular
are some ridiculous games.
Of the popular games, of the most popular games people play.
Okay.
Like Tekken, Street Fighter. I guess for animes it's now Guilty Gear. I don't know what it was before.
And the hopes of Virtua Fighter are kind of dashed because,
Yeah.
like, they were definitely testing the waters to see if like Virtua Fighter could, stand up in the current era, and it just didn't quite work out because all they did was repackage a really old game
So I
and then give
actually
it shit netcode.
I did a video on this a little while ago.
Oh yeah,
And
nice.
actually, Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown did really well.
Yeah, they made
Well,
a lot more money.
people downloaded it, right?
Yeah. It got so it's guessed. I mean,
it was free.
It's hypothesized. It was hypothesized that Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown had somewhere around 8 million downloads. So
I could see it.
So basically, what that and all they were doing was just to test the waters to see if people wanted a Virtua Fighter 6. So and the suggestion is that yes, there is going to be a Virtua Fighter 6. It's leaning in that direction. So
That's interesting since the player base wasn't retained even like remotely.
I mean, I think that's true. That's true for all fighting games, even and especially ones for that like rollback netcode. But like a lot of them will turn into Discord fighters just because the player base will just shrink. I mean, that's kind of how they all work. But no, I mean, I think the popular support was there for Virtua Fighter. It's, again, a lot of people downloaded it, and it's kind of like that same dilemma of like
but it was
a
also
bajillion
free.
people. A bajillion people bought Mortal Kombat. How many people still play Mortal Kombat? You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference between the people who initially buy into the game, or versus the ones that like are still playing it like months after release.
A lot of people
but being
just
free
buy
for
fighting games
for 2 months really worked in Virtua Fighter's favor with
But it
those
showed there's
download
interest.
numbers.
It showed there's interest.
And
I mean, if people are willing to take up hard drive space, it shows there's interest.
I mean, and
for a little bit,
worked.
yeah.
It
did.
And so I mean, you can even see that it worked with like them doing like a Yakuza crossover, and they also recently just did a Tekken crossover too, which it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but they're just skins. That was disappointing. I thought it was gonna be like an actual character.
People spend money on skins. How do you think Fortnite sustains its budget?
Right.
Oh no, I know. I just thought like maybe the crossover would be a little bit more than just a skin for a character.
They don't have money for more than just a skin.
So I mean, yeah, I think they're basically at this point
Probably not.
They're just kind of just making some money off of like the DLC of the game, and they basically just tried their best they could to just port it and like an upscaled version of it. I think it's actually like from top to bottom a remake of Final Showdown, which essentially is both games play identical in terms of frame data too, so that's kind of funny. But
well, it would have to if they wanted to capture the same feel of the game.
Yeah, I definitely think that there is going to be.
It was redone in the Dragon Engine.
I definitely think that there's going to be a Virtua Fighter 6. I'm 100% believe that
cool.
There's going to be.
It's always good to have competition.
The real question is like,
Lord knows Tekken needs it.
The real question is what it's going to sell for and how it's going to sell. Because if they try to release it at a full price game, I think they might have a bad time. Like there's literally just news about DOA 7 or was it DOA 5? I can't remember. Yeah, 7. DOA 7 being DOA. Like literally they canceled work on making DOA 7 because they realized that the budget wasn't sustainable for what they wanted to do, and they didn't bring enough money for DOA 6, which is kind of a bummer because there are a lot of people that are still kind of fans of the DOA franchise, even as like weird and microtransaction it got. And let's keep in mind that like DOA was one of the first couple mainstream fighting games to do the free-to-play model, so there is that like sustainable for fighting games. I mean, DOA kind of tried it, and they didn't really do that well. I mean, so who's to say? They
did well enough to make a DOA 6. So I mean,
one more game, is it really?
Well, I mean, think about it though. They could have just they didn't do free-to-play with DOA 6.
Yes, this is true.
They should have. And because
I don't know if they should have. Maybe
DOA 6 is literally currently free to play.
Is it currently free to play?
Yeah, you
So
start
what they
out with
did
like
is they
4
have like a
characters, but you can
yeah
buy more characters. They
yeah
did the
there's
same
Ah,
core pack thing that they did with DOA 5.
okay.
yeah.
Well, my bad.
So you can buy the core game for like $30, or you can just use the free to play version, and I think it's a limited number of characters, or it's like a
Yeah, it's like
rotation. I can't
4
remember.
characters.
How you
Yep.
doing, Night and Brace?
But I mean, this is just like another reason that I'm so excited for the Riot Games fighting game, because I feel like it has the potential to literally change the entire like landscape of fighting games as we know it.
For
I think
sure.
everyone
Since
overestimates that.
it's going to be free to play,
Yep.
it's going to have rollback netcode, and most likely it's probably going to be cross-platform.
Yep.
So
And it's
like
I think it's still going to be like a Discord fighter within 2 years, but I could be
yeah,
wrong.
but even if it's like a bad game in quotes, it still will hopefully like set like a standard,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe
Because
I think
it'll show that companies can do all these things, but they just aren't.
maybe
Because if it does succeed,
yeah.
then other companies will have to take notice and be like, "Oh shit, maybe us monetizing the living fuck out of fighting games with DLC plus having people forced to buy them is kind of shitty." Because fighting games have had like the worst DLC ever, really. Like, think about how many different versions of the games you buy, right?
Yeah, I don't. So for me, I thought the original model they tried to do as SF5 was cool. They didn't end up sticking with it, but I love the
Mhm.
idea that they were like, we're gonna make everything in game unlockable if you earn enough points. But then they completely like nerfed the point gain, and it made it so it's like, well, I might as well just buy the DLC.
Yeah,
But I like that original like model of like, oh yeah, just earn everything by playing the game a lot, because that sustains your player base if you have people that give a shit enough. You know what I mean?
yeah. But then when
Almost
you've
kind of like
got those mechanics,
yeah, almost like the Fortnite Battle Pass model. But yeah, as I said, I think no matter what happens with the Riot game, I think it's going to set the standard in that people will know that there is a way to do it. Like it provides them a path. Like, is every company going to take the same free to play model path? No. But I think as more free to play style fighting games come out there, you'll start to see some more innovation in that space, and hopefully that innovation leads to ultimately a better overall standard.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, retro. I mean, I can see that. That's a lot of speculation for a game that's only that has a 5-minute trailer. I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, we can only base what we know off of what they've done previously with other games. And but I get
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
The big thing about it, like, even though this is speculation, they have like amazing like fighting game pedigree going into this game. Like they have the Cannon brothers building the
Yeah,
game.
the
Like
team they assembled
what?
the team they assembled has a very nice resume. Whether or not the
Yeah.
finished product turns out good, especially with the business angle, the monetization angle, is anyone's guess. But yes,
Yeah.
the on the technical side, they do have some very impressive talent. 100% agree.
Basically, they have all the right pieces. It's just if they can put it together properly, is how I view it right now. Like they have just amazing people working on it. They have practically infinite money because Riot just prints money.
Yeah, they got their own shop in there, man.
And they have a super strong IP, which is the League of Legends universe, which recently saw amazing success with Arcane to show that it can be more than just a game, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, too bad the employees are monkeys. I mean, I don't know about that, man. I can't comment on that because I really don't know enough about the company. But hey, maybe I should go over. I mean, was there anything else anyone want to say on that before I go into my
Which
week?
company recently had the
Not really.
sex allegation, like the people in management being terrible? That was Riot, right? Like all
I-
the management were like treating their under employees like shit.
I think it was Blizzard.
Not all of it, but like there was a few like higher ups that did like some deplorable shit, but they were swiftly like cut out. And Riot seems to have been making strides forward in the workplace, according to like
Like I
recent
thought
like
the
testimonies
whole
by.
Cosby Lounge thing was Riot. Was that
No, that was
Riot?
Blizzard.
That was
That was
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Okay. Everyone's doing. Riot was the one that was like they were farting on people, right?
Yeah,
Wait.
they had like the frat mentality at Riot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of female employees quit or like sued and shit like that. And then ever since they've been like cleaning up their act,
Well,
according
hope.
to testimonials from other employees,
All right. Well,
including
hopefully.
female employees who are like, "Wow, this place is getting a lot better.
All right.
It still
Well,
has ways to go, but it is actually improving, and it's less of like a frat."
hopefully that continues.
So respect to them for
At least
actually like
giving a
buckling
shot
down
and
and
trying.
trying to clean.
For
Yeah.
giving it a shot.
Yep.
After like 50 years, I guess.
Yeah, do we want to move on into topics?
Actually, I didn't
Anyways,
even.
that's my week. That's the end of my week. So
Oh,
backlog.
sorry, I didn't. Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, dude,
backlog,
I didn't
how's
even
your
get to
week,
go
dude?
into it.
You've been so far off the topic. at
I
this
know,
point.
yeah.
That always happens during my week.
Yeah, my week was good, man.
This week, yeah.
Man, what happened? Jesus. I spent a lot of time editing. I've been kind of delving into a lot of Budokai
Did
lately.
you do something the other day? I distinctly remember seeing you in person.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
We went to go
Remind me,
see Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, we went to go see Doctor Strange.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, we went to go see Doctor Strange and like I wish we recorded that conversation because we talked a lot about it.
Do you want us to kick around for like an hour afterwards and do like an actual like mini like 30-minute review? Because I'd be down for that.
I would, but I would, but I can't.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, we'll do a spoiler review of that because I do want to talk about that with you more.
For sure.
I've thought about it a little bit. So yeah, I'm down to do a review of that, but we can do it later.
We went to go see Doctor Strange. Been playing a lot of Budokai. I've been kind of delving into like what if there's like any kind of depth to Budokai, and it does have kind of an interesting combat system where it actually has cancels in it. Like it has there are charge moves that will essentially hit through somebody's block, and it's kind of I suppose it's like a bit of a guard crush. But they designed inside the guard crush, they let you press guard and cancel the guard crush. So combos that naturally go into the guard crush, you can cancel out of them and then continue with a different combo. So
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, and not only that, but the transformations that you can do inside, like, let's say you go Super Saiyan or, you hit Kaioken with Goku. You can continue your combo from that. I still haven't quite figured that out yet. But it'll basically it'll blow up their guard as well. So essentially you can do like 3 combos into like a super, or you can do like just 3 combos, or you can do like 2 combos and into like a power up. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty damn cool, but and I know a lot of people disrespect it, and I kind of think rightfully so, because I haven't seen a whole lot of defensive options for the game. At least I can say that the combat system has scaling, so you can't necessarily combo forever. And after like a certain point of like hitting 2 or 3 combos, you wind up like doing literally no damage, so you're wasting like 3 bars for like really nothing. So it is sort of like, good in that way. The other thing that's kind of a downside is that there really isn't too many get off me moves, especially with Budokai 1, which is what I'm playing, because they don't have teleporting, stuff like that, where it's like you can see what they were going for, and I kind of respect the game and the series a lot more because of it. But yeah, like I've been playing through lots of tournament mode. I've pretty much beaten the game and all the side content. Besides, like, I think the Legend of Hercule. And then, man, that tournament mode it's what you have to do to get money. And boy, the CPU is bullshit. Because 9 times out of 10, you'll get to semifinals and just get knocked out of the ring in like 5 seconds. It's extremely frustrating. Um, but yeah, no, I've been digging that. I've been playing lots of Circle of the Moon lately. Castlevania Circle of
I
the Moon.
just bought those on the Advanced Collection was on sale.
Yeah,
So I
man.
just bought them on Steam.
Yeah, they're good. I'm going through all three of them. I'm playing through. I beat.
Game Boy ones, right? The Game Boy
Yeah,
Advance ones.
yeah. I beat Aria of Sorrow, and then I'm on to Circle of the Moon. I'm just about done with Circle of the Moon. I'm about like 98% done with the game.
Onwards to Dawn.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Dawn of Sorrow after. I kind of wish I went in order, but I mean it's not like it really matters. Um, that game's good, and I can say that like this version of the game was them trying to take like what Symphony of the Night does with like a leveling up system and like changing weapons, and they tried to put it in in Alucard, not Alucard, but like what would you call the character, like the whip character,
Whip
like
guy.
whip man and his many iterations. They try to kind of fuse those two play styles, which I think they did a good job, though the game is extremely grind heavy. And that's the only thing, is like Aria of Sorrow overall has a way better pacing, and I think that that's why it's kind of regarded as like the best Game Boy Advance game, Castlevania game, I should say.
Uh-oh, you might not like Dawn then.
Well, no, there's grinding in Aria, but like in Circle of the Moon, there's like twice as much grinding because the game is a little shorter than that. I mean, like it's just very frustrating. Like there's a battle arena, for example, and they're the last two cards you have to get. So basically what the cards are is you combined both cards to kind of do different like attributes to your weapons, right? So like if you use certain ones, you can get a sword, or you can double your experience or your luck, or and so on and so forth. Or you have actual summons, which I think they're called something specific. I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially like a screen clear. But so finding the cards really kind of benefit you, and they give you different like attributes like fire, ice, wind, you know what I mean, poison. And so the last two cards are in the battle arena, which is very difficult because it takes away all of your magic, right? So you can't do any of the screen clearing, because that's what it's based off of. You only have like a secondary weapon. And so the trick to get around it is you actually have to pause, go into your inventory, consume magic items to build, like get max like MP, right? And then you have to unpause, and then you have a short window to cancel into your like screen clear before your MP runs out. So that's how you like kind of clear more difficult rooms without having to actually sit there and inch your way and whip people. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I dig the game. I just I think overall like the Aria like slash like Alucard playstyle is better. It's more fun because you have like options of different weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, and then I think other than that, we had Big Tekken Saturday, which was a lot of fun. It was good, like seeing all my
That
Tekken.
looked so fun. Yeah.
It was, man. I miss seeing all my Tekken peeps, and it was good. Like people came in, they said hi, and like we had some good conversations, and yeah, man,
Yeah.
really thankful, that I started playing Tekken and streaming, and meeting all these really awesome people.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where you built your first kind of online FGC crew, is like meeting people through Tekken. So it's definitely cool seeing you go back to that.
Yeah,
and reconnecting. Yeah.
And I can say like going from Tekken to like KOF, it's been really difficult for me to find people who are as knowledgeable as like the Tekken community is, because I could, when I play Tekken, I can literally talk into my chat and be like, hey, is that plus or minus, how do I punish that? And they'll be like, oh, this is how you punish that, or you can't press a button in this situation. Whereas in KOF, I don't have too many people that know that much depth about it, unfortunately. So it's like a little more difficult to kind of, I have to scrub and find information.
I just think there's so much more love there in Tekken. It seems like it's not like that people don't love a lot of the 2D games, but
Yeah.
like I feel like the 2D game communities are more insular, maybe, or something. I don't know. I don't play enough fighting games to really know that, but that's just kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah. It's. I think it's just. Go ahead.
But like my general vibe from most like 2D communities is they're very like clicky. They seem to be like for a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they all stick to their own like little groups and don't really deviate.
And Tekken just seems very chill.
It is. But it is it
to a degree.
to a degree. I still think like the clickiness is kind of just how it is. You know, I think that's just the fighting game community as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the old thing, like, oh, you play Tekken, oh, so like you've never played like Street Fighter, right? Or you hate Street Fighter if you play Tekken,
Right.
or if you play Street Fighter, you hate Tekken, etc.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
Like if you play one fighting game, you have to hate all other fighting games.
I just find that weird. It's like you should be allowed to like what you like. Yeah.
I think that was like, remember when Phil, of course, came on as a guest? That was one thing that he actually brought up, was that he thinks that the FGC in general is just very opinionated, and you know they are. They're very close-minded at times. So I think I agree with him.
Well, the FGC it seems to be like the most competitive group of players, really.
Think so.
So like it's kind of like, I think, fed into this, oh, my game's just better than yours kind of mentality over the years.
Well, I mean, people do. I mean, I do remember distinctly like watching tournaments and people just shitting on Tekken Tag too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Tekken for a long time.
You even have clicks within the Tekken. They're like, oh, Tag 2, that thing was fucking garbage. If you wanted to play a real Tekken, you had to go play Tekken 3.
I mean, there are always people that are gonna like certain games and not like other games, but like it's when people like fail to recognize that their opinions are actually just that, opinions.
Yeah, just opinions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where they think it's objective reality and be like, hold on. Some people like that thing you don't like. Like that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when people stop realizing the difference between their feelings on something and reality, that's when you get in trouble.
So, and I think that is kind of, that comes with the territory of trying to be good at something. And it's because there's a lot of different ways to do something, and you only know your way of like learning or practicing something, right? So you know what works for you. So it's kind of like you kind of get this confirmation bias of like, oh, I'm good at this thing. This is what works. That sucks. This character sucks. And, you know, kind of like you have to, you know, you close yourself off from new information. I mean, not everybody. I'm just saying like this is possibly why it's like that. But yeah, man, other than seeing, you know, playing Tekken and seeing Doctor Strange, you know, and playing Budokai, I think that's about it, man. I think that was my week.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it was so cool watching you get back in with the Tekken peeps. Like it almost makes me want to pick up a joystick and play. Like I'm saying almost.
Do it. Yeah.
You say that every time.
He does say that
listen,
every time.
I don't play the video games
out of
here.
Yeah, for real. Man, just do it.
Man just lies on repeat.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I don't have time to start a hobby of actually playing my video games yet.
What do you mean?
One day,
what are you talking about?
not today.
Right.
I like buying them. Playing them is a whole nother level.
It's never gonna happen, man.
Okay.
You gotta understand, it's either you do it or you don't. That's the way August is.
I remember buying literally Tekken 7 day one. Like day one on release, full price, $59. Played arcade mode like 3 times that week. I hadn't touched it again for another year. It was so bad. But it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. I'll never say it's not a great game.
It's a great game, and I think I'll touch KOF again
Yeah.
15 again when the DLC drops, and then I'll
Yeah, I
spend
Big
buy
it.
I
balance
buy the DLC
patch.
every time it comes out for most games, just because I'm
You
like, ooh, I
guys, you
want it.
guys got a huge balance patch coming down the pipeline for KOF.
I
I've
can't
read.
wait, man. There's that game still feels very bare bones in a lot of ways. I don't know if I mean, the training mode isn't that bad. It has a lot of quality of life things that are really annoying. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how like Geese and the new is it I want to say it's like the Southtown team, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Southtown. Yep.
Southtown.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they
Southtown.
play, and like how other people play them. That's like one of my favorite things about playing fighting games is, especially with a game like KOF, where it seems like it's very expressive. A lot of people play characters differently, and I always love seeing, everyone's kind of take on things. But yeah, with that, maybe we can jump into the current events.
Hell yeah.
So, uh, let's start with the Strong's World Video Game Hall of Fame. I guess right here is saying that Ocarina of Time is going to be introduced into the Hall of Fame.
So, literally until I saw this article, I didn't know the video game Hall of National whatever Hall of Fame was a thing. But I mean, if anything should be in a Hall of Fame of video games, it's Ocarina of Time. I mean, that's a formative game for so many, and template for so many adventure games.
Right.
My question would really be like, how wasn't it in already? But yeah, I mean, gaming is one of the newer forms of media. I mean, I'm not saying gaming like electronic gaming. I guess didn't really kind of exist in big earnest until like the 80s, and from then on.
Yeah.
So of course there isn't much of a history there. But I mean they're starting to be. You know what I mean? It's been 40 years since the 80s.
Well,
So I mean it's about time we started getting a Hall of Fame for this, kind of like much how we like have a game awards. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Which is kind of thought of as the Oscars for gaming, I guess. Similar idea. But yeah, Ocarina of Time definitely deserves to be on a list of Hall of Fame games.
Yeah, man. I think the game preservation in general has been taken a lot more seriously. And I only can say that because from what I've seen online and kind of like following some retro game people, but I don't know how like smaller groups have taken it seriously throughout the years. But I mean, just to kind of getting the information out there, I think, seeing games as like a piece of art through the years, I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely. Like I think just like films or books, it absolutely should be seen as a piece of media worth preserving for cultural history. Actually, there was an article the other day that I think I threw on the board, but we didn't end up doing anything with, about how like Sony just made up its own new internal game preservation team. And I think along with every other company, that really should be a thing, like, because eventually you're not going to be the one reselling these games, and I think a lot of companies need to realize that, like,
Yeah.
while there may not be a financial market for it, there absolutely should be a cultural market for it. And a lot of these games should be saved for posterity.
Well, I mean, if you look at a lot of like Squaresoft in general, or Square Enix, they have lost a few games that don't have their source code anymore. Like those the original games only exist in like ROM form, which is why we had to get the Final Fantasy VIII remaster. So there have been other games, like major games that
Crash Bandicoot had to be entirely remade.
Yeah, some games just got straight up deleted or lost.
Yeah. Like the remake, the new version of Crash Bandicoot is a remake of the original. I don't think they had any of the original source code.
Yeah, a lot. I think there was quite a few games I've heard of that kind of happened too. So, but I'm glad that you said Square Enix was making a
Sony.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad that they're kind of making preservation now. And it's not gonna be just like, what is it, John Hancock or something like that. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he has a giant video game collection that he's just waiting to donate to a museum for history reasons. So he has like
Very
he has like tons of boxes and stuff like that, like game consoles. He's pretty cool. Like check out John Hancock. He's got like tons of videos on
That's really cool.
Yeah. And it's amazing that he's not going, he might sell them, but he hasn't sold them. His main intention is to give back for historical purposes.
I think that's the point though. Like it shouldn't have to be like one man in a
Yeah,
basement.
exactly. Yeah,
preserving all of game history.
exactly. Yeah.
It should be the companies themselves that have the closest access to the material to do that. So yeah, I mean, here's hoping for more stuff like this in the future. I mean, like, maybe this is my communist dream of the future, but
boy.
I mean, hopefully, in my mind, like you should only have maybe like a 50-year, 60-year IP hold on a lot of these games, and after that, it should be donated to the public record. So,
isn't that generally how like
it's not. It's like 100. It's like Life of Creator plus 20.
Jesus.
I think. So it's usually 70 plus years, if not up to 100, based on how it works. I think with digital rights, it's getting more and more confusing because there's not always one sole creator, and it can get a little bit more complicated. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I don't think, in my mind, a lot of this software shouldn't be held for like 100 years. You know what I mean? Like, because at that point, that's like 3 generations of like forgetting about it.
Yep.
So I mean, really, it should. I think maybe like 40 or 60 should be the most, and then it should just be released to the public's hands. But I mean, this is someone who like loves the idea of there just being a public record or library for anything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys are like big readers, but there's something online called like Project Gutenberg, which is like an open source collection of like supposedly every piece of literature that's basically fallen into public domain. So if you want like a really old books, like 100+ year old books, you can literally go and like download those ebooks there for free. I think Sherlock Holmes is in there, like all the like ancient classics, like the Odyssey, yada yada yada,
Yeah.
Iliad, are in there, like 1,001 Nights. But yeah, I mean, I think their shit is the way. So it should be treated as such.
Right. Real quick, what was it? Night Embrace. I don't have too much more Budokai to go. I don't know if I'm actually going to 100% it, just because it's gonna be like, I think it's gonna be like a few
Audio.
streams. Oh, what's up? Did the audio cut out? Test. Hello? Oh no, did we lose you guys?
Your audio's a little bit,
No, I'm right here.
Can you hear me, Quintessence?
a little bit fuzzy.
I hear
It
you.
didn't cut out all of it. It just skips in and out, or at least to me.
Yeah, you're I mean, typically with your connection, honestly, you cut out.
Maybe it's just
Yeah,
my audio.
yeah,
then? I don't know.
August
It's
cuts
different.
out all the time.
Yeah,
A lot. Let me. Do I have an outlet on this one? We'll figure it out. Do I cut out all the time?
you
I wish
do,
people
yeah.
told me this.
Yeah, it's pretty fragmented.
So can I read you guys off, like,
Okay.
unless
Well,
Quintessence
I'll
has
try to
anything.
figure that out. I have I can't. I don't have a Ethernet plug on this.
Unless Quintessence has anything else to say about the Hall of Fame, I'll read off the list and then we can move on.
Not really, other than I'm baffled that Mario 64 isn't in it.
Is it already in the
No, I would say-
collection?
It's not in the collection.
Okay. So
I looked through the collection. I was like, what? No Mario 64?
No
I don't
Mario
know about this one.
that is kind of strange. But I mean, I think definitely Ocarina deserves to be in there for sure.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, no.
So to read off the list, we have Sid Meier's Civilization, Miss Pac-Man, Ocarina of Time, Dance Dance Revolution 1. I'm assuming it's the first one. Doom, Pong. I mean, the fact that I'm assuming this is the first list because Pong has to be in there, unavoidable. Grand Theft Auto 3, Oregon Trail, The Legend of Zelda. Is that everything? I think it was like only 9, maybe. First 9. No, we have more. We have more.
Oh, there's a bunch.
Yeah, there is a bunch, but I think they were only adding those 9 in recently. So yeah, I mean, other than that, man, I think this is a great list. And I think everything kind of deserves to be on here. And if you guys want to check it out, I think it's at museumofplay.org. And let's see. So moving on. Reggie Fils-Aimé had a serious conversation about bringing Mother 3 to the West with Iwata. Now, I don't know if
So,
go ahead, August.
oh no, keep going.
No. I didn't have anything else to say.
Oh no, so I'm not as steeped in Mother lore as other people. What's the American name for Mother? I forget.
Earthbound.
Is it like Earthbound? Excuse me.
Earthbound
that's
is
what I'm saying. I'm
Mother
already forgetting
2.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
they had the
So-
original Mother for the NES.
But I think wasn't the big controversy that for some censorship reasons, other reasons, Mother 3 has never formally been brought over to the United States. And it's cool finally hearing that there was a serious conversation had about bringing it over, even if it never ultimately happened. Am I understanding how that was supposed to work out right?
It's saying here that the reason why it didn't come over to the West was because it didn't sell. The Super Nintendo Earthbound didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
In the market, the marketing was.
It was the only one we got. We got literally the second game. We didn't get the first game. We didn't get the third game.
Well, we
just
didn't.
got the second game.
We didn't get the first one until Earthbound Beginnings, I believe.
Yeah, and that was much later.
Yes.
Much
I think that was like
later.
2016, 2017.
And calling it Earthbound Beginnings is weird too.
Yeah, because that implies that there's gonna be more, or there's more than a beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know why they had to call it Earthbound. I don't know why they couldn't have just stuck with the Mother title. But whatever. I don't know. It's a weird, quirky little series. It had some controversial things in 3, and that probably attributed to things, but overall it was just sales just weren't that great. So
right.
they just didn't put it as like a priority to get us Mother 3.
Yeah, but the thing is now
Earthbound Next, I guess they would call it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can emulate the game, so
Mhm.
literally putting it on, selling it now would be trivial. It would cost them maybe cents to do, dollars maybe.
They'd have to translate it.
No,
but that's it. And there's already a fan translation, so they could honestly call up dude and be like, "Hey, here's $1,000, go away."
Yeah, but they don't want to do that.
So the thing is actually on if you play Mother 3, like a translated version of it, it starts up and on the screen it says this translation is permitted to be used by Nintendo. So basically they're saying, hey, if you want to use this translation to release the game, here you go, it's free. It's all done.
Yeah, but that kind of shit's always murky. No matter what. No company really wants to use someone else's work like that.
Either way,
all I'm saying is if they cared enough to release it, they could do it for very cheap, and they would probably make. There's so many that's the thing about Nintendo.
It's not
There's so
a
many
super
nostalgia
long
fiends
game.
out there. There's so many nostalgia fiends out there. They would pay any amount of money for Nintendo's stupidity, which I think Nintendo will eventually be called on. It might not be this generation, but it should be soon, because I am getting tired of everyone, especially Nintendo, trying to adopt the bullshit subscription model. Just sell me the games. I don't want to pay $50 a year for some odds and ends. I want to be able to pick which games I want. And especially if I stop paying those $50 a year, I won't have access to the games anymore. That's some bullshit. I want to actually own the games, or insofar as you can own anything in this digital day and age, which is a whole other level of bullshit problem that I don't want to get into right now.
It actually,
but yes, sell me my games like you did on the Wii Virtual Console. I'll be happy. And honestly, them selling this game shouldn't cost them that much to actually make the license if they wanted to.
Right.
They have to translate it.
Again,
advertise it.
Not that much work. Advertise it. You could literally put out a trailer saying we're putting this up online.
That's kind of what they do with most of their games anyway.
That's
That's
how
part
low
of- that's
effort
part
it
of
can be nowadays.
advertising.
Because Nintendo has nostalgia fiends out there.
Um,
Shit like
fair,
this is
but-
like crack to them.
to add to the fact why Mother 3 kind of didn't get released, it had to do with the Wii U sales. And because at the same time it was like Earthbound Beginnings and the Wii U sales were kind of they were linked together, and then on top of that Iwata had died, so it kind of made a damper in the possibility of the game ever being released. I mean, obviously now Reggie isn't a part of Nintendo anymore, but they did he did actually make an attempt to really get Earthbound 3 or Mother 3 to the States.
I mean, someday we might actually see Mother 3 in the States.
Mhm.
Until then, enjoy your fan translations.
All I'm saying
That's it.
is you have motherfuckers out here paying for games they can emulate for free.
That's true.
And they would still do it if Nintendo would just put it out. So
Well, technically, emulating those games is illegal.
Technically, no one talks about it.
The
because they do it
emulation,
anyway.
the emulators are not illegal. Emulating the game is.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Long
Nintendo
story
owns
short,
those
technically-
IPs.
Yeah,
There
but
are
he's,
ways
he's
to put a
talking
pirate hat
about-
on and play those games that people
Well,
do
yeah,
already.
of course.
But would they still buy them if they came out? Yes. And the fact that Nintendo doesn't want that free money, that's on Nintendo.
Not everyone's, as pirate savvy,
I'm just saying, people would throw money at Nintendo to give them these games, and Nintendo
Of
apparently
course
just doesn't
they
want that
would.
money. They're not
Uh,
What? Let's move on to the next one, because it's just silly that, again, this conversation seems to come up every 10 years, and it's like, well, why don't they just release it already? It's like, well, why haven't
know,
they
I-
made another
I think you're
F-Zero?
underestimating how difficult it is.
they
to,
did though.
bring things back.
They did make another F-Zero. It's called Smash Ultimate.
It's
True
true.
story.
Captain Falcon is in there.
It's true.
Captain Falcon is now more a Smash character than an F-Zero character. Let's let that one sink in.
It is kind of wild, yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
I mean, he was more of an anime character than he was an F-Zero character for a while too.
I don't
so.
even know if anyone even remembers the anime, so that's a whole other level.
I mean, that's where Falcon Punch came from.
That's still 15 years ago at this point. But yeah. But yeah. I mean, again, people want to be able to play all three of the Earthbound games, and it's unfortunate that now more than 20 years away from them coming out, we still can't do it easily, legally. So yeah, that's kind of dumb.
It's unlucky.
And with that, I don't know if you guys saw this, but New York City sues Activision, targeting CEO Bobby Kotick.
This whole story has been. Sorry, no. Did you say?
No, go ahead.
Go first on this, Matt, because I already know what I want to say.
Bobby Kotick, Russia, liability misconduct. See, I basically, I just read the title. Yeah, he's a bitch. Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, this is the heavily misbehaving CEO of Activision. We're talking death threats to employees. We're taught he literally told one of his under people that is I could have you taken out. You can't fucking do that shit. What are you doing? So I mean, just terrible CEO. A nightmare to work under, from what I hear. Caused all kinds of scandals and other bullshit. Finally,
Sexual harassment.
People at his own company have wanted him gone under him.
Mm-hmm.
Being the name brand. People under him at his own company have wanted him gone for years. But of course, he stacked the board in his favor by being all his friends, so the board kept him around. Managed to negotiate what seemingly looks like a golden parachute on his quote-unquote exit, because they lucked into a deal where I think they were going to sell themselves to... Who was it? Microsoft? I want to say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's Microsoft.
Yeah, that was Microsoft.
So it looks like whether or not he stayed a part of the company, he was getting out of this pretty much scot free, because even if he doesn't stay as part of the company, he's got a golden parachute out. But apparently, New York wasn't having any of it, and actually decided to sue Activision and the CEO Bobby Kotick for basically some of the bullshit he's been doing. Let's see. Suit was filed in Delaware on April 26th. as part of the employees' retirement system and pension fund. So basically, I assume it looks like you know, one of the weird things in our country is that public entities can invest their retirement funds in the market, into private companies. And basically, yeah, they're suing Activision for basically, I think, kind of tanking how the sale is working out. Let's see. Given Kotick's personal responsibility and liability for Activision's broken workplace, it should have been clear to the board that he was unfit to negotiate the sale of the company, but it wasn't. New York says the Microsoft deal, which is pending regular approval, allows Kotick and his fellow directors a means of escape or liability for the breaches if I for their fiduciary duty. It also says Microsoft $95 share offer undervalues the company. So basically, they're saying that, to put the business speak in simple, Activision should have sold for more. All Bobby Kotick's dumb antics actually undervalued the price of the company, which is one of the reasons why they were pressed to sell so quick. And since they had money invested in Activision, they think they're actually losing money, which is why they're selling. So it's kind of a lot of kind of arenas coming together all at once. But kind of painting the big picture, it's nice to see someone actually punch back at Bobby Kotick's bullshit, because it seems like he was kind of gonna go unpunished, quote unquote, for all of the shit he was doing. Because again, the way it looked is he was gonna golden parachute out of this, because once he sells the company, he doesn't have to stay working there. He got his bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just trying to get out of all the bullshit.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. As I said, it's a lot of weird arenas kind of intersecting, but it is kind of them trying to be like, listen, like he acted in a really dumb way and is maybe not the indirect cause of them selling the company, but certainly part of it. And they want to see they don't want that to go unacknowledged, if not unpunished. So I mean, F Bobby Kotick, he sucks. That's kind of what this whole article is kind of pointing to. But I'll be really interested to see kind of what comes of this, because it is kind of out of left field.
It is, yeah. But I mean, I'm glad again that they're punishing. Well, this guy's a douche.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like a big reason why they're just kind of going after him anyway.
Yeah,
they're attempting to punish.
They're attempting to punish the man.
I mean, do rich people in this country get punished? Usually,
not really.
No,
unfortunately.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see if anything actually happens. Because I mean, at the very bottom of it, it's like, oh, why are we coming after him? Oh, because he costs us potential money. So it's still, all predicated on who's making money under capitalism. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if anything comes of it, and hopefully, the New York pension fund gets some money out of this. I don't know. Fuck. At the end of the day, fuck Bobby Kotick. But who knows what else is really gonna happen with this?
I definitely think that there's also like a hey, where's our money type situation going on
100%.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not even from the two companies involved, but a third party.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what the the New York pension fund is doing. 100%. They'll be like, "Where's our cut?
Where's our cut?" Yeah, and it kind of sucks to know that, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Let's see. So with that, Quintessence, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Not really. Guy's just a huge douche.
Word.
I'm glad they're investigating him for the possible insider trading too.
Well, I mean, it was actually when he was first kind of getting shit canned a few months ago.
Supposedly shit canned.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was gonna say, well, he's not actually gonna get shit canned. He's just gonna get like his cut of the money, and he's just he's free to go. He doesn't really have to pay for anything that happened. And like this may be some like white knighting or whatever for trying to make another company look good, when realistically they're not here to help anyone but themselves. So yeah, with that, moving on. So hey, did you know that what is it, Square Enix got rid of a lot of their Western companies?
All of them? I think we got rid of all of them.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's This is crazy. Like literally every part of I think Square Enix Europe, which was basically any of the Western related companies, because I think there were some of them were actually in Canada.
Yeah,
Have
they
basically
culled their Western devs.
yeah
They're
have
not happy with how they performed.
basically all been sold off. So it's weird because it's like I don't even know if it's like a happiness thing so much as it's like
What,
it
what is going on with your microphone?
the
Go ahead and start that
the
over
other
again. Oh
kind of
no.
interviews
August.
and podcasters, and it seems like a very like in that the West makes its own kind of games for the West.
Uh-huh. And then
Oh, me?
yeah, you're cutting
Can you
out.
hear me?
Oh no.
Do you want
Oh
to
dear.
do you want to try like resetting your computer or
You
something?
still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
About now. Let me. Okay.
Well, this is
You
rough.
guys-
I'll tell you what. Why don't
I mean-
why don't we go on break for a quick second, and why don't you?
Let me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yo, why don't you go on break?
Yep.
Reset your computer, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out.
Boop,
Okay.
boop, boop,
Yep.
boop.
Yo, Quintessence.
Hey, what's up?
Talk to me about Square Enix selling its Western studios.
Okay, so basically, they have decided to sell, I believe, all of their Western studios.
Yep. It says right
So,
here.
like, Crystal Dynamics is one of their big ones, and they've basically just been hemorrhaging money ever since the failure of the Marvel's Avengers.
Right.
So, it makes a lot of sense that they would want to kind of like cut that out because they're still funding that game. Like that game is still getting updates, even though their player base is abysmal.
Oh boy.
Like the
As
they're
as they're
trying to
fighting,
save it.
they're also funding Outriders too,
Yeah, Outriders.
which is also not
Well,
making
that's
anyone.
yeah. So basically, they're just losing money hand over fist here. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised they kept these studios as long as they did after they started turning such poor, I guess, developments.
Yeah.
Because
It's also a little bit surprising in that they also have some of their most well-known IP in the West. Like it's not IP that has been super successful lately, but we're talking about selling off like the entire Tomb Raider catalog.
Tomb Raider, yeah.
We're talking about selling off the entire Thief catalog. I think also like Deus Ex probably. Like any of the things that might have been made into movies in the West, they've sold off essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently they really just lost their ass on Marvel's Avengers and Outriders.
And
Like
Outriders, yeah.
both of those were huge financial failures. Like
It was
colossal. They would put
was-
lesser companies under
Yeah,
levels.
it was so funny because if you look at the list of intellectual property they kept, guess what they kept?
What?
What?
Outriders. Because Embracer probably didn't
Hey.
even want it. Like literally, they're like, "Nah, you could keep that one." Like I think they kept like
that's cool, dude. You can have that one.
they kept 3 IPs and Outriders was one of them. And it's like, "Oh, you mean the one that was dead on arrival? Yeah, you guys can have that one on a."
Don't worry, it has more coming. More
Oh.
Outriders is coming, dude. They're coming with that update.
Can't wait.
What the hell is Outriders anyway?
It's like a failed kind of Destiny clone.
Yeah, it's like a third-person Destiny essentially.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's saying right here that Square Enix has said that the sale will be used to invest in the blockchain.
Yep.
But they don't know what to do with the money either.
They're going big on the blockchain.
Gonna go big. Gonna go
Square-
long on NFTs.
Yeah, no, Square is actually looking at NFTs as like the future. Which makes me lose a lot of respect for the company.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, obviously they're using this to kind of gamble into something that's not. I don't know. Anytime anyone ever invests into NFTs, that's a gamble. So it's I, I don't know how to feel about it. I
Yeah.
kind of think it's a bummer that like they're getting rid of, like I said, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, and hopefully someone else buys them and kind of actually makes good games,
That's
brings it
that's
all
that's what
back.
happens.
Oh,
A company known as Embracer Group did buy them,
Okay.
and that's what's so crazy about it is that like they're essentially getting like household name IPs for like pennies on the dollar because
Right.
that's how bad a lot of these Western Square Enix owned companies were doing.
yeah, they're
Like
being sold for only 300 million.
yeah, and this isn't just like the Tomb Raider franchise. This is all the other franchises they're selling to. So yeah, like pennies on the dollar essentially for household names. It's kind of nuts.
It kind of looks
Yeah.
like the Embracer Group doesn't really do they make games? Like, have they been known to?
We don't know yet. As I said, I don't know anything about Embracer Group. They seem kind
I
of like a
don't
new player
either.
on the scene.
Yeah, it looks like they're definitely obviously interested in playing video games, but yeah, it looks like they're also from I think they're a Swedish group a company. And I think wasn't there like a lot of tax breaks in Sweden for video game companies? I don't know if anyone had heard anything about that, but
I
Yeah.
don't.
So it says
Yeah.
10 operative groups, 119 studios, over 850 franchises. So apparently they've already been in video gaming. They own looks like THQ Nordic, so that's Darksiders. They own it looks like Gearbox, so that's
They own
Borderlands.
Gearbox. Okay.
And Dark Horse Media, so that's Hellboy Comics. So yeah, I guess
oh,
they've been in media for a little while, or they've at least acquired a lot of name brand properties. Looks
Oh,
like they're current owners of Deep Silver.
here's
Uh,
here's here's another number. On just Marvel Avengers
mhm.
and Guardians of the Galaxy, Square lost an estimated $200 million.
Wow.
yeah. So that makes me so sad about the Guardians game because the Guardians game is legitimately a fun story.
It
I
was just
might
so
not have.
basic, though. They
I don't know.
needed to
I really liked
add
that game.
more.
I liked that game. I think if I thought that was 10 times better than the Avengers game,
Well,
story wise.
that's a pretty low ass
It
bar.
is
Yeah.
it is a pretty lost
In
bar, but
fact,
no,
yes,
like
that's true.
I really liked that game. I'm sad it did like obviously I don't think it would have sold as well as they expected it to because like I think they probably like expected it to have their Avengers numbers, which their Avengers numbers weren't even realistic. Not to mention that game came out kind of shitty, but that like
Yeah.
I think the biggest like disappointment for me is that the fact that like the Guardians game didn't do well for them because that was a fun ass game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I too was kind of like interested in it when it first dropped, but I kind of was in the mindset of I'll wait till it drops. It's a single player game. It'll drop in price at Steam, and
Yeah, you can do like I
Uh,
did and just have like watched an entire Let's Play on YouTube of it, but
oh, here we
yeah,
are.
it
Square
was a cool
Enix
game.
Square Enix financial data shows Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics earned 240 million in revenue over the last 3 years, but recorded just 10 million in operating income.
Hmm. Wait, does this also
Which
mean that they sold Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy as well to Embracer?
I'm not sure. Maybe whoever collects the profits
Yeah, I'm
from
not
those,
sure.
but not necessarily the actual game licenses.
Yeah, so only 10 million in operating income. So their like game as a service model has just like colossally failed.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean that's the kind of crazy thing about I think modern
And then
AAA
we have
gaming is
Eidos
yeah,
that earned 240 million in revenue in the last 3 years,
yeah,
but only pulled in 10.3 million in operating income. So really they're just both floundering.
yeah.
Maybe we'll get that Soul Reaver
Like
reboot.
hopelessly floundering.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, as I said, I with modern AAA gaming, I think it's I don't know what the economics are on AAA gaming, but I think for a lot of story-based games, a lot of companies are finding out that the money just isn't there. Like unless
Yeah.
it's a smash hit, like unless you're the next Last of Us, the money just might not be there.
Well,
Because
everyone wants to make a game as a service now.
well, but like this is the thing. I think that's a symptom of a larger cause in that making a game is so much more expensive than making a movie. Like if this new form of media costs way more than any other comparative form of media before it. And I think a lot of companies are finding out that unless you have some type of service or multiplayer element or a repeat element that keeps people coming back to it, it's just not justifying the upfront cost for a lot of these games.
You see,
Unfortunately.
EA made the same argument you're making.
Yeah.
But then they had the Jedi Fallen Order that just smashed a bunch of.
That's what I'm saying. Unless you
true.
have but like you can't build an entire economy on just hits, because that's like if everything goes right. You can't.
Tell that to
No.
Nintendo.
Oof.
Is Nintendo even really doing that nowadays? Like, I see more fucking third-party fucking drivelware on the Nintendo eShop that's probably making them more money than any of their fucking single parties.
No,
what they
most
release-
of their
No way.
single parties,
They
they're doing
release
their
3
big bucks.
Dude, like literally, they're just making money how Steam functions now. Like, how much money do you think they're probably taking in revenue off of every transaction on the eStore? They're probably making so much in fucking bank on that back end just by being an eShop. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but Nintendo's lived off of hits for years.
Dude, Nintendo wouldn't-
Decades.
Dude, I bet if you looked on those paper numbers, you'd be crazy surprised how much money they're just making off of like shitty, like 10,
I mean, I'm
$10,
not saying that
$20
they're
games
not
on-
making money off of that stuff, right? But we see that you don't have to be like a continuous business model to be successful. Because, like I said, EA said the exact same things you're saying.
Yeah.
And then had to eat their words with Jedi Fallen Order when
It
people
was
were like,
one
"Oh my
game.
God, a
You can't build an
single-player
entire
game."
company off one game. You can't do it.
I'm not
It's not
saying that.
sustainable.
I'm saying it proves that
What is the proof?
people don't want just only games as a service. People
didn't s-
still enjoy those single player
I
games.
didn't
They don't
say
keep
I
having
didn't say
content added.
I didn't say people
so
didn't
they can
enjoy those.
have those hits and
I
they
did-
can still make a bunch of money on those games. And
But is it enough
sustain.
money? Is it enough money to sustain an entire company? That's what I'm saying.
If you have
Like
enough of them, of course.
Nintendo has the benefit of owning their entire ecosystem. Like,
Hmm.
you can't compare a company that owns like the entire production line from top to bottom, including the shop, versus a company that's like buying games from like independent or third party studios. And the economics are entirely different. Like, a lot of these studios are folding because they're finding out it's hit or miss. And if they miss, their whole studio could fold. I mean, that's crazy high pressure. I mean, why do you think a lot of these companies are trying to come up with a lot of alternate monetization methods? Is that they realize like they need some back end in case their game isn't a crazy big hit coming out the gate. Because you can't expect every game you make to be a hit. You can try to get it, you can aim for it, but I mean, if every next project could break you, then I mean that's a lot of risk that again a lot of these companies aren't going to want to take on.
I don't know. I just think that companies can survive on hits.
Uh,
Companies can survive on single player games.
I guess I disagree. I don't think you can survive on every one of your games being a hit, because again, that's counting on everything going right every time. And a lot of times it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I think you make the best game you possibly can, but being smart about having back end monetization is always a good idea. But you have to make a good game at the end of the day. I think a lot of these companies, you know, even the ones that are failing as games as a service aren't making good games, and that's also why they're failing. Like, there are games as a service people really enjoy. I mean, Monster Hunter, successful Japanese studio game as a service, crazy.
Most updates for Monster Hunter are free.
Final Fantasy, successful game as a service.
But
Literally,
Monster Hunter is a terrible example because the updates are free.
yes, but it's still a game as a service. It's a multiplayer game that people keep playing, and you can buy, like, you have paid DLC. So I guess it's not the traditional like buy each and every
Very
thing.
little paid DLC though.
Each new big update's paid. What are you, like, it's a major
No.
update, like it adds a ton of content, but like Sunbreak versus like that was a whole $30 DLC.
That's
Wasn't
an
it?
expansion. That's not
But
even
that's
a
what I'm
DLC.
DLC is an expansion is DLC. Anything that's add on to the game post launch as DLC.
Right.
It's an yeah,
I
it's an
disagree
expansion.
when they make it like basically its own thing.
It's additional content to the game. It's still DLC. I mean, it's more of kind of like the Street Fighter model where it's like a season update, but it's bigger, obviously. Because like with the fighting game model, it's just like usually a character pack. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's still additional content. It's just it's not the microtransaction model. It's kind of a macro transaction model. But yeah, I mean, game economics is a weird field, and I think it hasn't been figured out yet. So it's still a work in progress for a lot of companies. It just makes me sad that a lot of companies out there making good content, go the way of the dodo because they have one bad release. But I mean, that might be how the business works. I don't know.
So guys,
Yes.
did you see that Nvidia pays $5.5 million for allegedly hiding how many gaming GPUs were sold to crypto miners?
I am shocked. I can't believe they had massive shortages to the consumer and they were just selling to the crypto miners at massive profits. I never saw this coming.
Honestly, I'm more surprised that they're getting punished for it. That's really what I'm surprised for, because
They're just upset they got caught.
a business is gonna do what a business is gonna do. I'm just surprised that they're getting punished for it. But yeah, I mean, crypto mining is weird. On the one hand, I think it's a cool idea in theory. On the other hand, like, bruh, it's terrible for the environment. It drives up GPU prices, and it does a bunch of other shitty things. And oh yeah, it's entirely unregulated, so it's volatile as shit, and everyone's figuring out what that means, and it's not really a great thing. So yeah, I don't know. Like pump and dump scams. We're talking like a bunch of other bullshit. So yeah, I mean, crypto is
the
this
stock
thing.
market suffers from pump and dump also. It's not
Yeah,
really
I'm
like
not saying it doesn't.
foreign thing.
I'm just saying that it's like that shit's so much more obvious in crypto. But yeah, like I don't want to have a crypto discussion because that could be a whole podcast in and of
The big thing is Nvidia were just like, oh yeah, we just don't have enough GPUs for you consumers, and meanwhile they're just like, all right, you crypto miners, you take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one.
And I bet they use COVID to hide it. I bet they use it's like, oh, we're having supply chain issues.
Most likely.
Like,
I mean,
so many
probably.
companies now. So many companies now are using COVID supply chain issues as an excuse to drive up prices. And I think that's the new meta we're seeing is that any crisis that comes along, a company is using that as the excuse to drive up prices. And then as soon as that crisis is over, how often you see those prices actually come back down? You know what I mean?
That's because they
Hardly
don't.
ever.
They have no plan to bring them down again. They
not even just that, but like a lot of these companies are still making record profits on paper during like crises. So it's like, I sense some fucking bullshit going on. So yeah.
However, respect to ASUS.
Yeah.
Because they actually have been lowering their graphics card prices since supply has been going back up again.
Yep.
So props to them. They lowered their prices by like 20%.
It says here particularly that they're getting sued for unlawful obscure to the investors. They're getting sued by investors. They hid it.
They hid that they were selling a large amount of GPUs to crypto miners instead of the general public.
Yes, yeah. Which is, I mean, it's wild, but
they're getting a slap on the wrist for it because it's 5.5 million, whatever. Drop in the fucking bucket
for Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the investors. I mean, other than, well, it could be worse. You don't know. So, the investors could be pulling out of the situation.
I'm so tired of this slap on the wrist shit too, because it's like, did you guys hear about the whole TurboTax thing? With like TurboTax finally getting fined for all the like shady funneling they were doing to like people's paid option for their quote unquote free tax program. Like apparently I think everyone is getting like $30 back that filed. I want to see how much actual profit they made per every customer.
I'm getting $30 back?
Yeah, you should be getting $30 back if you use TurboTax in the last like 4 years.
I used TurboTax.
Yeah, you should be getting like $30 back. I might be $30 per year. But my whole point is like, dude, that's probably cost of doing business. Like they probably made so much more than the $30 they're paying back. I doubt that's even probably half the profit they made just by doing that to
course.
people.
Well, I mean, if
So
you
it's
if
like,
you want to talk about the like how if they invested the money too, like the
yeah,
the
no,
dividends they made.
exactly. Slap on the wrist shit. Like
Yeah.
it should be twice the cost of fucking what they did to make sure they never do it again. But no, it's literally like the bare minimum. Like it's just like literally treating companies that do bullshit with kid gloves. Like there was a thing a while back with Wells Fargo, like opening accounts under people's names, just so people could like, just so their whole internal reward structure, like you got promoted off how many accounts you opened. So like people were just like, oh, you called in recently, cool, make an account. Like, did they ask for an account? No, but we're gonna make you one anyway. And when they finally got fucking in trouble for that, they're like, oh, we're sorry. Barely had to pay a fine. Probably made more money with all the account fees and bullshit they've done.
Reminds me
In
of
the
that
time,
South Park episode. We're
yeah,
sorry.
in the
We're
time
sorry.
they had that program running than they ever had to pay back in fines. So I mean, there's no punishment for corporate malfeasance nowadays.
Not really, no.
Meanwhile, if people did that or stole nearly the amount of money in like as that company did, they'd be under the jail. You know what I mean? You'd be in jail or under the jail.
I mean, at the
So
end of the day, a lot of decisions are made literally just to fuck the little guy
yeah,
and
but
help
corporations are
companies.
people, right? But corporations are people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
it's
just look at like the day trading laws is a great example.
yeah,
Oh, you can't day trade unless you have like what is like 20,000 in your shit or whatever.
yeah,
And that's to quote unquote protect the little guy.
yeah.
Bullshit, man.
It's
Like,
some hella.
come
I mean,
on.
look at the whole like GameStop like stock trading thing. Like the SEC was about to crack down on retail because individual investors wanted to invest in the stocks they wanted to invest in.
Yeah.
Completely ignoring all the market manipulation big companies do. But if the little guy wants to fuck with their market in their own way, no, we can't have that happen. Yeah, no, it's
Yep.
some bullshit. It's some bullshit.
We're getting pretty off topic. I
We're
think we
getting off
should move
topic. Anyway,
on.
but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see someone trying to slap Nvidia up, even if they're using kid gloves. God forbid though, one day I hope they take the kid gloves off though, because
Someday, maybe.
yeah, they did some bullshit. I mean, yeah.
So with that, moving on, Netflix targeted another lawsuit going on. Netflix targeted with shareholder lawsuit alleging security fraud after subscriber miss. I don't know if anybody checked this out. Netflix also misled their investors about declining subscriber growth over the course of 6 months.
Yeah, so Quintessence, did you want to go first on this one?
I mean, basically, Netflix has just been lying through their teeth for a while now, and everything's snowballed, and they've been caught in the act, and their stock just keeps plummeting, and they're just not having a good time.
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing is pretty nuts. Especially that it seemed like it all came to a head all at the same time. Like there was a wave of cancellations.
It was beautiful.
Netflix had to actually finally like release their quarter ones because they only have to release info at certain times a year. I think that's kind of the vibe. And when they finally released it, they're like, "So wait, you've been hemorrhaging subscribers for how long, and you haven't told anybody?" And not to mention like. I think there's been accusations of some fuzzing in their actual like viewer statistics because like they only release like top whatever this week, but they don't actually give you. I don't know how many actual subscriber numbers of view numbers they give you of how many people actually are watching the shows they're putting out. Which was one of the big complaints I heard online that like even though it's like third party and weird and like you have to fill out surveys or like put a box on your TV, like Nielsen is still like the most accurate in TV statistics reporting because it's third party and you can't trust a company to report negative things about themselves because that lowers their shareholder value. So no one's going to want to do it. Like they're not going to want to be honest with their data unless you make them honest with their data.
Yeah, but when they were made honest with their data,
yeah,
they lost over 60% of the price of their stock.
Yeah. So it's
in like a month.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's
it
it's
just
shit like that. It's not to mention
plummeted.
that, like, again, I was hearing this the other day from someone else who's talking about all the Netflix stories recently, and apparently they're like the only major company anywhere that pays out all of their CEOs in cash. Like, we're talking like multi-million-dollar salaries comped
Cash?
in cash.
Oh,
No one
okay.
else does that. No one else fucking does that. It's always comped in stock. It's like a
Yeah.
200K salary, the rest comped in stock. No, they pay
So,
them in cash.
so
That's
they knew
sketchy.
shit was fucked.
That's pretty
They-
sketchy.
That's sketchy as fuck.
That's some drug deal shit.
Yeah.
They knew shit was screwed.
Yeah, like
I mean, maybe
that's
if they didn't cancel a show after one season
Yeah.
every fucking time, they could retain some damn subscribers.
that's like burning the company's like valuation money to the ground, like jumping off the sinking ship before it sinks kind of
Yeah.
behavior. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who
They
pays
canceled so many shows.
That's some Bobby
Who
Kotick
pays-
shit.
who pays everyone out
Yeah.
everyone else in cash? You know what I mean? That's sketch.
You know, it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Pretty weird champ, dude.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to go over before we, another scummy ass company? Before we move on?
No, just I mean, Netflix needs to just straighten its shit out. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like literally, like honestly, I'm another thing in my not communist dream of the future. This would be this would
History
still
of the
have
future.
private businesses, but like businesses needs to start open sourcing their data. Like, be accountable for that shit. You have a bad week, like talk about it. Maybe people who actually like our service will give you feedback that's actually good.
Yeah.
But like, don't privatize all your numbers. Keep that shit open. Let us kind of see what's going on in real time, and maybe, I don't know, shit could actually benefit you in the long run. Open data should be the next big thing for a lot of these companies, especially Netflix, which a company is so reliant upon, its subscribers actually giving a shit about.
The thing is Netflix is just like wildly teetering, right? Because, for example, apparently Stranger Things season 4, it cost over $30 million per episode.
That sounds about right. Yo, what's up, Afternoon Tune? How you doing, man?
Meanwhile, they're just like canceling the other shows that are way more, I guess, economic for Netflix. It just doesn't make
Netflix-
much sense.
I mean, that's kind of my biggest problem with Netflix is they're just trigger shy. They don't want to invest in growing properties unless they're smash hits, and that's why I think they're gonna ultimately
Even
fail
if
as a
they do
company.
really well, if they don't do like Squid Game numbers, they
Yeah.
just cut.
Yep. And that's their problem. They're not used to they're not used to let a show grow. And that's
Yeah.
what it takes to actually being successful nowadays is you have to
Yeah.
let something grow.
Well, right now they seem content to just keep shoveling out garbage like Hot or Not and other shit like the fucking island where like, oh yeah, you can't have sex. Can these hot people not have
Well, so
sex?
they've readopted the cable model of the late 2000s.
The trash TV.
The
Yes,
thing
and
that
they
we
found
all
out
were
that-
trying to get away from, pretty much.
Yes, the literally though, but they found out
Next
that
they're
the
gonna bring
cheapest-
back Jerry Springer. Like,
The
come on, Bert.
Dude,
Yes, what are you doing?
don't jinx it.
They've realized the cheapest. I mean, dude, like where you gotta find Jerry Springer first to like bring him back. Like, what is he doing right now? Probably podcasting.
He's actually like a judge on a daytime TV show.
Is he?
course
Oh
he
my
is.
god.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I mean, essentially they've figured out what like MTV figured out back in like 2004 that the cheapest TV you can make is cheap reality TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a gift and a
that's
curse.
all they're shoveling out, right?
Yeah. And it's
Other
it's-
than,
it's-
like Stranger Things.
Yes. Meanwhile, HBO is fucking killing it. Every
True.
single premium show they have right now is good as fuck. I've watched half of them. I know. They're all great. I love them.
I wish their catalog was bigger though.
August
I think that's what they're
the
suffering
HBO
from right
shill.
now.
Dude, I am an
Yeah,
HBO
right?
fiend lately. Everything they've put out has been so good.
Yeah.
Minx just got a season 2. You know why? Because it was fun as fuck. What's it called? Winning Time. Definitely gonna get a season 2. It was also fun as fuck. Barry's going on right now. That's one of the greatest shows. Like, I think on TV people aren't watching. Our Flag Means Death. Taika Waititi kills it. Great show. I mean, again, like not to mention HBO owns all of Viacom, so they have all of the like Viacom back catalog. That's like the Adult Swim content. That's above a bunch of other shit. I mean, honestly, like bang for your buck right now, I'd say HBO Max is probably the way to go. But that's a whole other conversation.
So, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but if we want to get to the L of the week or the review of a Moon Knight, we gotta push it along.
All
Yeah,
right. Can we since we're just finishing
there's no
about
more
HBO,
time to shill for HBO.
Well, but we're just about to show for House of the Dragon. We just got the trailer.
We
I'm
can-
not
we're
shilling
prob-
for that.
we're
I
We're probably
think
gonna
that looks
skip
like
it.
fucking garbage.
We're probably gonna skip it. But
Okay.
well, the thing is,
So
no.
okay. So I can wrap up in a minute. My honest opinion on House of the Dragon looks like it's gonna be okay if people already liked Game of Thrones and want more Game of Thrones. But if you didn't already want more Game of Thrones, you didn't already like Game of Thrones, I don't know if it's gonna do anything new. Yes, it might fix what people say about season 8, and that'll be okay, this is back to being good. But I don't know if we needed more Game of Thrones. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll watch it anyway. But again, if you wanted more of Game of Thrones, you'll probably get it.
Wait. How would it fix season 8?
Not gonna
Damn it,
fix it. It's just
stop
gonna be more
asking
content.
questions, contestants. God damn it! Stop it!
I'm just curious because House of the Dragon is a prequel.
It's not gonna fix it. It's just gonna give you more of probably what you already liked about the original show.
It could dampen, it could heal some of the wound you have from the previous show.
It could. Yeah,
All
it
right.
could.
Here's my like short take here.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be terrible. You know why? Because all of the other original stuff that we got from this crew
Mhm.
was garbage. It literally drove the series into the dirt.
It's a totally different set of directors. It's not D&D.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But
But
just like
yeah,
it seems like anyone who does like original Game of Thrones stuff just can't pull it off.
who knows? We don't know.
It
We
just
don't know
seems
until we see it.
It seems doomed to fail. And
Yeah.
it's going to cost a lot of money.
It's gonna cost a
I'm
ton
sure
of
it's going to
money.
be very pretty.
Hella pretty.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't have very high hopes for it.
All right.
Anything is
That's it.
possible.
That's all.
I'll take an 8 out of 10. If it's an 8 out of 10, I got hope for the future.
So with that, do you guys want to delve into just go straight into the L of the week? So real quick, can you do 8:30 quintessence, or is that if you can't, you can't.
Maybe?
Let's just. I tell you what. Why don't we just review Moon Knight?
Just review Moon Knight?
Yeah,
Okay,
for the last
sure.
15 minutes. Does that work for you guys?
All right.
That works for
Yeah,
me.
sure, that works.
Yo, so I gotta ask, what did you guys think of Moon Knight?
I mean,
Well,
I've been
well,
talking a lot. So
Okay,
contestants,
all right.
please.
I'll start it off. All right. So, what I think of Moon Knight
Mhm.
is one, it's not really Moon Knight.
Right.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope. Agree.
as its own. So, like, if I separate it from Moon Knight and
The
just
Moon Knight comics. Yes.
judge it as its own thing, its own entity,
Yep.
it was okay.
Yes.
It wasn't amazing. I'd
Yes.
give it like a 7 out of 10 or
About
so.
where I'm at. It's
That's
about
pretty
where
good.
I'm at too.
It gave some like cool set places. It gave some fun fight scenes. It gave you some interesting questions about, oh man, is this reality? Is this in his mind? What's actually going on? Kind of shit. And I usually enjoy that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I was fairly engaged for most of Moon Knight. But I have to knock off several, like
3 points.
points, a bunch of points because it's not Moon Knight.
Right.
However, it was nice that they finally explored his final personality. I was actually wondering if it was like they kept dropping hints of it existing, but I was wondering if it would actually like come into its own. But it also still didn't make any goddamn sense because it was also technically another character from the comics. But I
By
don't
the
know.
way, guys, possible spoilers too. So I mean,
No,
we,
100
Yeah.
we're gonna do
spoilers.
spoilers. So
So
yeah.
this is a spoiler review Moon Knight. We're just gonna
We always spoiler in our
we have
reviews.
15
That's
minutes.
just
We're
how
not
it
gonna
is,
not
man.
spoil.
All right.
Yeah.
So you gave it a
Uh,
7 out of 10.
Yeah, like a 7 out of 10. The main character's acting, his British accent and shit was kind of grating. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I found the voice a little annoying, but I think the character was supposed to be annoying.
I guess.
He's.
Yep.
I mean, if you
Maybe.
if you think Cockney accents are annoying, I get it. You know.
It was a poor Cockney accent, though.
I mean, I thought personally, I thought he did a great job. But, I mean,
Really?
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it was nice that he could like shift between the two like so seamlessly.
That was
towards
impressive. I
the
thought
end.
so. Yeah.
That was.
It wasn't just shifting the voice; it was shifting the facial expressions too. There's some cool micro.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
completely shifted between the two at the end there.
He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, I didn't think he was, but then seeing him just have to play so many characters at once, I was really impressed.
Yeah. Same.
But
it's not the best person I've ever seen.
There was a lot of cool ass moments in the show. A lot of what the fuck moments, but a lot of cool moments. A interesting enough plot to keep things rolling.
Yeah.
And it was just an okay little show. 7 out of 10. That's it.
Yep.
It's just not Moon Knight.
Yep.
What did you think, August?
So yeah, I was gonna say a counterpoint to quintessence. I agree and disagree with him. I'm first of all okay with it not being Moon Knight. I don't have that much personal experience with the Moon Knight comics, but also even the comics I do have experience with, I'm always appreciative when Disney does its own thing, taking inspiration from the comics, as long as it's well executed. This was executed at like maybe a 6 out of 10. Like it wasn't perfect, wasn't bad. It was just like its own thing. Like it had some inspirations, it had some cool ideas. But at the end of the day, I think it was a little boring. And that's kind of where I'm at. So the vibe I got is that they were going for Egyptian Batman, which I'm kind of okay with. But at the end of the day, it would have been cool if they either A, leaned more into the Egyptology part of it, or B, leaned into more of the mystical parts of it, or like I just wish there were more going on. And I mean, granted, that's really hard to do in 6 episodes, but the kind of overall tone of the show felt off to me. Like I straight up didn't like this show. Like episodes 1 and 2, I loved, especially 2. I'm like, cool, we're gonna get kind of like Egyptian Batman. Episodes 3 and 4, all the Egyptian shit just dragged for me, or the start of the Egyptian stuff. It was super boring. Nothing really happened in those episodes. They were trying to just kind of get from point A to point B. They were very just travel oriented episodes. That to me were just extremely boring. Like those episodes took me actively out of my level of enjoyment for the show. 5 and 6 kind of picked it up. It brought me back into it. Of course, it had to. It was the end, so there was nowhere else to go. The climax wrapped it up. As I said, if you look at this, it kind of like a 6-hour movie. I can almost excuse the low points, but if you're watching this as a week-to-week show, 3 and 4 were way too boring and way too slow. And I just can't excuse that. Like it was,
6 felt like a whole different show.
It really did. 100% did. It was like, this needs to be the big fight special effects climax. Like it felt like I was watching an action show for once, and I'm like, this has not been the tone the entire time. So the fact that they're starting now annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Like literally, it became an action movie again, and I'm like, okay, we had to wait this long for that. But yeah, I mean, 3 and 4 were just they were kind of terrible episodes to me. I'm like, this entire script could use a whole nother pass to make it more entertaining, to add more themes, to add more value, to add deeper writing. And the first 2 episodes I would rip to shreds and change a lot were 3 and 4, because those episodes I was falling asleep on. And it wasn't just the time of night I watched them. It's just because they're boring. Like if you're gonna play the mummy Egyptology angle, like pull inspiration from like the Mummy. Like I've had this conversation before. I think we had this in the last podcast, but like make those entertaining, because those episodes were just slow. They were slow and dry. They weren't funny. They didn't have any of the quips. They didn't have any of the cool mystical shit. Or at least not in a way that was actually interesting. They were just slow. You know what? This honestly, when this finished, what I kind of got the vibe from is that like whoever wrote this script watched 2016 or whatever year it was, I don't fucking remember. Whatever year Tom Cruise did his Mummy movie, and they were like, yeah, we want that, but Marvel. Because the vibe I was getting at the end is like, oh, so it's like a mummy themed superhero that can come back from death because he's the mummy. I guess I don't know. Fucking, we never really explained why he could come back from death other than mystical god shit. I guess maybe that's all we needed, but and there's some weird shit about like, is he in an alternate dimension? Is he in his mind at the end? Is he in like a weird limbo between realms where souls go? That's not an afterlife, but the soul plane. We don't fucking know. Maybe we'll never know. I don't know. It was interesting. I want to know more, but at the same time, the rest of the writing in the show was so boring that I almost don't care. I almost don't care. The writing here just didn't keep me that interested. I did like the cinematic fights at the end. I did like that, you know, Steven finally got his chance to shine in like fucking Matrix style. I know Kung Fu. Instantly knew how to fight for some reason, even though his character was never on paper knowing how to fight at all. But I'm okay with that. It made it exciting. But yeah, I mean, I wish they would have given me more. I wish the writing would have been deeper. I wish it would have been better. I wish I had more themes. It would have been really cool if the discussion, like, okay, so this show almost had the trope of you go through the entire show killing a bunch of nameless mooks under the main bad guy, but then you don't kill the main bad guy at the end. It was this close to doing that. It only reversed that in the end credit scene. And I'm like, that's kind of dumb. But I'm more of like, that's kind of dumb. It's like, okay, well, explain why that's dumb. Like, explain what the different personalities' philosophical divisions were, so I kind of have an idea of why they did that or where it's going. Like, what was Mark's ethical reason for not wanting to kill Harrow at the end? Like, was it does he not want to kill in cold blood? Does he like
so that we could have the after credits?
Yeah, it was so dumb. It was almost that level of dumb. I'm like, so like it would have been, and not only that, but it doesn't give us really any cool thing to go on going forward. Like, it would have been really cool if there were kind of an ongoing dispute between the personalities. Like, Steven could have been the peacemaker, so Steven could have wanted not to kill someone because he doesn't believe in killing. Like, that would make sense because his weapon is non-lethal. Mark could have been the, like, I'll kill you if I have to, but not in cold blood. Which at the end would have made sense for his reason not to want to kill him when he'd already won. Jake Lockley could have been the one, like, I will kill everyone I need to accomplish my goal. Like, it would have been, or like, I'll kill them all. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been cool if, like, you gave the three personalities three different philosophies on killing, because that would have actually been something cool to carry into the future of the Moon Knight character, is that he's always oscillating between the three levels of what he thinks justice is. But they didn't even do that! They missed that!
I feel like we watched the different show, but yeah.
Well, but like, I'm saying that would have been cool for them to do if they made each character have a different philosophy, stated different philosophy on why killing is wrong or right. And I wish they would have had a conversation at the end about that. But
we did.
Yeah, I think we could have done more. That's all I'm saying.
So what rating do you give it?
I give it a 7 to 10, same as Quinn.
Yeah, I think honestly, for me, I would give it a good 7 out of 10. I think watching it all at once is the best way to do it. It is a little slow at the beginning, but I did overall enjoy the episodes. I don't think that they were by any means bad, in my opinion. I did think that they were going to stick the landing, of course, near the end. I think my only kind of gripe with the show is that Marvel, it still goes to show that Marvel as a whole isn't really building to any overarching story and is just doing a bunch of smaller stories right now for a bunch of characters that no one really, I mean, people care about, but it's difficult for me to care.
I wish there was more setting up for the future. I totally agree for you. That's my yeah.
There is, but like the older Marvel actors are kind of retiring from their roles, and I get it. They played the same characters for like 12 years and roughly 22 movies. Um, and I want to know what they're working towards. Like, I thought that the whole theme of the multiverse was gonna there's some kind of multiversal entity that they're kind of all working towards getting, but there's been no hints towards that whatsoever.
Yeah. So I mean, again, we'll have to do our Doctor Strange review later, because we're pressed for time. But I mean, I remember one of the complaints we had at the end of that movie. But I mean, again, that movie was cool. We'll do a full review of that later. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like they leave us with more breadcrumbs than they leave us with an actual taste of what they're gonna do. Whereas even way back in Avengers 1, they gave us like a full taste of like, okay, the next guy is gonna be Thanos.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we need more. I'm not saying we need to know the next villain, but give me more of a taste as you're planning something for the future rather than something you can throw away. Because the way they left Moon Knight, 100% like feels like they can either throw the show away if it didn't meet their expectations, or they could do something more with it. And I wanted them more to commit to being like, yeah, we're going to do something more with it.
It also it also feels like they're sort of getting sloppy with their storytelling, and like I think they know that they don't really have, like, they can't really do the Avengers again. So I think they're kind of just trying to, they want to introduce these characters, see who everyone likes, and then, hopefully get to an overarching plot.
I totally disagree. I think they can do the Avengers again. They're just have to be willing to set it up, and they haven't been. Like, yeah, you might not be able to do it a third time, but I think they can definitely do it again. I mean, that was a thing in the comics. Literally, they killed off all the Avengers, and then there was the new Avengers.
They had to rebuild
because they needed another team.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think for myself in particular, I don't think I can ever recapture the excitement or, feeling, for waiting for the next movie. I just don't have that anymore. And I think that's, it's a little depressing for me because I don't have anything to look forward to.
I agree. I agree with you in that I think they need to put more focus on the future and giving audiences a taste of what the future is going to be, and they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, and I think the exciting part of the original Avengers was each story had hints and was like, oh shit, they're building a world. Oh, this is so fucking awesome. Sick, man. I can't wait till the next movie. Or like, oh my god, there's Thor, but it's hard to have Thors and Captain Americas and Iron Mans, you know what I mean? And they seem to just be, a bunch of bitches about the X-Men still, which I think is like their closest possible way of doing the Avengers, or the same popularity, is maybe redoing the X-Men to taking it to that next level, because everyone loves the X-Men. And I mean, but anyway, I give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good time. I think if you're watching it week to week, it definitely could be disappointing.
Brutal. It was so brutal watching it week to week. I wish I just waited and benched it, because I was like, oh.
I think the biggest disappointments was Jake.
You didn't get enough time with him.
They kept teasing him so much, and then the only scene he actually gets is just the end credits.
Yeah.
Like, they could have fit him in.
I'm okay with them. See, that's the thing. Like, the way they did it makes me think there's 100% that they're gonna do a season 2. The problem is like, you didn't even set up a central conflict for season 2.
Well, okay, so imagine this, right? So they had like the setup for Jake, right? And then imagine in the final episode, in that final fight, where instead of just like phasing out and then showing the aftermath of the fight, what if, like, in that moment, Mark just shifts to Jake like, no, fuck you. You're not killing anyone else.
Yeah.
And we just get to watch Jake slaughter everyone. I mean, and then we're just like, wait,
just
what
about
the fuck?
It's
not, because all we got was just like
we got the blackout. All we got was the blackout.
I think it's back.
I think it's
I
because
think it would have had a bigger impact if we actually got to witness that other personality finally operate after
That's-
so many teases.
I can
I
see that. I
agree.
can see that. Yeah.
I agree, but there's two ways they could have done it. If they did it third person, they would have had to show what Jake's costume is. I don't think they wanted to do that. If they'd done it first person, that would have been really fucking sick. Where you just don't have any audio but him killing people, but they didn't want to commit to that either. But yeah, I would have liked more time with Jake. But at least you 100% know they're gonna do more with the character because that's not a way to leave it otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, I wanted them to set up the central conflict between the three personalities to be their philosophy on killing, but they didn't really do a good job of establishing that. And my other really big question is that like, okay, when they did the whole like hearts weighing, do your hearts ballots, where the fuck was Jake's heart? Like, that makes no sense to me that you only need to weigh two of the personalities to get the scale. Like, unless Jake doesn't have a soul, which I'm like, okay, how would that work?
Another Jake teaser was the third coffin, third
Yeah.
sarcophagus.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh, I'm not opening that. I'm not even looking at that." That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
Jake.
yeah. No, I got that. That's what I'm saying. But like,
So, like-
that's why did we only have to balance two hearts then? Why didn't we have to balance three?
You didn't have to balance. You didn't have to balance two. You had to balance one. The whole thing was after Steven like died, the heart basically went away, and it was just one heart.
But why didn't we care about? So what happened to Jake's personality while he was in the sarcophagus, or did it not matter because he wasn't fully in the afterward? You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like they could have explained that scene better.
I
Maybe
imagine
it
it's
wasn't
because that Mark wasn't even aware of the existence of Jake.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He was just in his mind. He wasn't actually a fully realized semi-soul or soul split, or I don't fucking know.
Oh, no, he's definitely a personality. He's there. It's just Mark's not aware of him like he's aware of Steven.
Yeah, that's true.
So with that, guys, did anyone have anything else they wanted to say? Yo, actually, Quintessence, where can people find you?
Oh, they can find me over twitch.tv/QuintessenceHD, streaming all kinds of video games, but a lot of League of Legends and Tekken 7 lately.
Yeah. I think we're also having Kamen Rider Club tomorrow in the Backlog Discord at 6 p.m.
We're actually going to be starting Kamen Rider Black from the Showa era of Kamen Rider, so it's
So did that
gonna
really
be a thing.
did that really cute girl from the last Kamen Rider switch sides? Because that was my question. Like, did she come on the good side?
Really cute girl from the last Kamen Rider.
Kind of
Remember the last time I was with you in Kamen Rider Club? There was that girl who was on the bad guy side.
talking about Revice.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Revice.
She was like a certified cutie.
No shit.
Certified Cutie is still very much villain.
Ah, rip.
But
August.
potential to be on good guy side.
Yeah, it's still up in the air. Who knows? It's Kamen Rider. They could go anyway. August, where can people
like
find
10
you?
episodes behind.
Still on the backlog, although I am acquiring streaming equipment and one day hope to make my debut and work on my own backlog. But for now, just finding and throwing together topics for the podcast and making it happen with you guys.
All right, man. And obviously, you can find us here on Twitch. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Discord. We're on Twitter. You can listen to the podcast on Anchor or Spotify. We're also on pretty much every other anywhere you can get a podcast, like Apple, whatsoever. You can find us. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out.
Later,
Enjoy.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening / watching.